I'm sitting in my nettle patch and I'm thinking about tea because it's getting to the point where it's now or never if I'm gonna pick all of my greens that I like to use for tea over the winter. My absolute favorite herbal tea is nettle. That's the reason why I've actually let nettle plants grow wild in my seating area. People think I'm crazy for having a nettle patch right where I sit, but I really like it. It's naturally blown in here, so you know, if it wants to grow here, who am I to argue with that? And you know, then I just try to block it anytime I have company over. Another tea that I really enjoy is raspberry leaf tea, and it's super simple because I grow raspberries. Basically all you do is you go into your raspberry patch and you pick some leaves off and let them dry, and simple as that. And it makes a really delicious tea, especially when blended with the nettle. Another tea I enjoy is sage, and I also really like adding rose hips in to my teas to give it a little bit of a tang, and I also like the vitamin C that it adds in.
My feet.
No, you don't touch it. Yeah, that's the flower. Here, don't touch the nettle though. If you touch it, it stings you.
No.
Yes. Go ahead and touch it then. Yeah, and now you're touching it.
No.
You just wait. So you're not going to listen to me. You're just going to touch it.
Okay.
That's nettle. It's not very smart to touch it.
How about this?
That's nettle too. Don't you? Does it feel like a tingling on your hand?
No.
No. Don't touch it, Leah.
It doesn't feel hurt.
Just because it didn't hurt you right away doesn't mean it won't. So you're just gonna keep touching it. That's not very smart. Okay, so I highly recommend you don't act like my toddler and you don't touch the nettle. I'm usually too lazy to actually go and get gloves, so what I do when I harvest the nettle is I just snip it and then I grab it with whatever I've snipped it with and throw it into my container. So Leah, how's your hand?
Okay.
Is it stinging a little bit?
No.
No? Didn't sting you? Not even a little bit?
No.
Yeah, so didn't get her, but it got me. I was the one actually being careful about it.
That's not right. My point. So, or piggy, raspberry, and or this, Sissy, do this, and then go start a happy boy.
Yep, we're gonna use the tea for a tea party?
Yeah, this is it. So, the tea nummy.
Tea is nummy. Do you remember why this tea is good for your tea parties?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What makes this one good for you to have?
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Cassie.
That's right, it has no caffeine. And it tastes nummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a good one?
Yeah.
You're remembering to pick the dark ones, not
Yeah.
picking the ones that are starting to
Whoa.
change color.
This way.
Yeah, so if it has brown on it, then it's no good, right? It's best to pick the ones off the tips, all the freshest leaves, because they have the best flavor.
Yeah.
And the raspberries, they have prickles on them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you pick the tender ones, then the prickles aren't as bad. The prickles are much worse down on the thick stalks, right? They're much worse on those parts. So if we just pick on the tips of the plants, then we don't have to worry about getting as many prickles in our hands, right?
Eat that pickle.
They're not prickly? You're doing the taste test? Or the face test? Using your face to test if they're prickly or not?
No.
And?
No.
No? Do you want to help Mommy pick sage?
Good.
Does your kitty like tea?
Just
Or we're gonna make kitty cat tea. Kitty cat tea? Here, what time is it, Leah?
It's fall time.
It's fall time?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What happens in the fall?
Halloween.
Halloween. That is right. What else happens in the fall?
Yeah.
The leaves fall out of the trees.
Yes.
Okay, you gonna collect up the sage?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks pretty good.
It's up.
You don't have to take it off. You can just leave it bunched together. Leah, just leave it like that, okay?
No. No. Yeah, like this way.
Why?
Okay? I make it that way.
Cats get tea too. So here is my very ghetto drying rack that I use. In here I actually had some catnip drying, and it looks like my cats have come and rolled around and eaten all the catnip that was in here, so this stuff is pretty much just garbage at this point. But I do have a couple other teas that I've been saving up here. So this is some of the sage after it's been dried, and as you can see, when you keep it just attached in like that, it stores really nicely and it's easy to grab out the servings for the teapot. And then this is another jar of raspberry leaf there. So, you know, it keeps a lot of the color even after it's dried. And then this here is another thing that I dried up earlier in the summer. This is actually bee balm petals. So bee balm, bergamot, basically. It has a little bit of a taste to it, but this is mostly just kind of decorative. It just looks pretty to throw some of these petals into the tea. So I got that there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill up these trays with some of my tea and let it get drying. All laid out in there, and the mesh is just gonna work really nicely to give some airflow to keep everything drying without getting gross. One thing you want to watch out for when picking herbs for drying is to make sure that you get them on your driest day possible. Any moisture that's on the leaves, like if you pick them on a wet, damp day, or if you get them when there's lots of dew on them, that's all going to just take longer to dry. And that's going to increase your risk of them not drying nicely and potentially getting mildewy or moldy. There's lots and lots of plants and herbs that can make really nice herbal teas for drinking at home. The ones that I've shown you here are just some of the ones that I actually enjoy, and you know, I'm at the point with the garden where if it's something that I don't like, I'm not going to put in the effort of harvesting and drying it if I know that over the winter I'm never going to bother drinking it. But yeah, definitely there's lots of stuff for you to experiment with. One thing that I didn't show you that also makes a really nice tea and is super easy to grow is mint. I highly recommend trying that in your garden. Just be careful. They can get kind of weedy. Another way to find some stuff to make some herbal teas is to just take a look around you, see what's out there. And if you're not sure if it's edible or not, it's super easy. to check it out online. There's so many really good foraging guides. I didn't show you us picking the rose hips here in this video, but we actually don't pick the rose hips off of our property. We go when we find wild roses and pick those rose hips because those are the ones I like best. So yeah, there's lots of stuff out there to get, and you know, it takes a little bit of thinking ahead to go and to pick it this time of year or even earlier. Some stuff isn't going to be good to pick anymore, but it's really nice to have it over the winter. So I highly recommend giving it a try yourself. Hope you enjoyed one of the random weird ways that I get some harvest for the winter. You know, obviously herbal teas isn't necessarily something I'm growing in the garden, but it's really nice to extend those perennial herbs that maybe just get used over the summer in your cooking into teas in the winter. And I mean, with the sage, you know, that's going to become a spice that I can cook with too. I just drink more sage tea than I use sage in my cooking. And you know, the raspberries, what a great way to get a second use for the raspberries, because like once the berries are done, you know, there's nothing really else getting used out of it. So, you know, I highly recommend trying it yourself. If there's something that you grow in your garden that you really enjoy as a tea, I'd love to hear about it. I obviously have space in my herb patch to add a few more herbs. So if there's something you think I should try, let me know below, and make sure to subscribe if you're not already joining us.